Okay, let's fucking go then, right? These are variables. You can choose any name you'd like, simply put an equal sign next to it, and they can have any value you'd like. You can do basic things with these variables, like reassign them or perform basic arithmetic. Lists also exist, and they are defined with brackets like this. You can create them empty or already filled in. You can add things to a list by typing the list name and .add with whatever you wish to add. Lists can also store any value. You can look through them to find values, and you can add and remove objects from them. It gets fun when you have lists and lists, in lists, in lists, but that's for another time. Functions can be tricky, so here's a very basic one. Again, you can name it whatever you'd like, and what's in the parentheses is called an argument, or parameter. You can choose the name of the function and parameter based on what the function is doing. Just make sure not to assume its gender. Name only means it's referenced within the function as name. Loops are a pain in the ass, honestly. If you have a list, you can loop through it with a for statement. This means for each element in the list, run this code. In this for loop, we just have a print each name. The word that comes after for is a placeholder variable. You can name it whatever you'd like, again, as you see here. While loops work the same way. They're still a pain in the ass. While something is true, run this code. Plain and simple. Here it will run as long as x is greater than 0, and each time it runs it decreases x value by 1. So this would only run 10 times until the statement is false. Make sure you don't have a never-ending loop by asking a question that will never be false. Classes are probably the hardest to understand. They took me a while, so here's a quick example. Define it like this. Classes hold functions and are essentially an object. It's a blank object. You have to say what these objects look like from their own perspective. What I mean by this is we use self-dot to tell the object what it looks like and what properties it has. For this class, we're creating a fighter, so that's our object. Fighters need stats, so we're going to make a function called getStats that will give the fighter his stats. Stats. Remember, we're telling the fighter what he has from his own perspective stats, so we need to use self-dot and then a variable name like this. We've got health, speed, intelligence, and alive. Now that the class is done, we can create objects off of it. First, we name our object, Jeff in this case, a suitable name for a fighter. This is a variable, and can be called whatever you'd like, remember. Hell, you can even name it Digbutt McFuckass if you really wanted to. But once he's created, he won't have his stats until we call his function getStats. So we do that like this. Since the variable Jeff was assigned to the fighter class, he has all of the functions within the class. Once we call that function, we can do Jeff.dot, and then the function name, and call any variable or property we defined in that class. And well, now you know Python. Fuck you.